everyone, welcome back to episode 8 of the PSA podcast. Tonight we are delighted to have an Irish League goalkeeper from the 60s and 70s and a man who was a massive help for me in my early days at management. We are delighted to welcome onto the podcast Irwin McKibbin, who also plays a massive part in the Heartbeat charity, who do fantastic work throughout the country. Irwin, you're very welcome.
Thank you very much.
Great to have you. So just the circumstances that we're in, how's things going at the minute? Getting back to a wee bit of normality?
Getting back to a wee bit of normality, not really training as such. We've got the team out, Alan Lang's out, doing a wee bit of ball work and things like this here, playing a wee match or two, and we had a pre-season, or not a pre-season friendly, an end of season friendly on Saturday sort of thing. We've another couple lined up, and then I think we'll take a break again, you know,
just nice to be back out, isn't it?
Just to get them back out, get a bit of crack, and you know, they need to get back out again, get a bit of interest going again, you know, so that's basically what it's about.
Good, yeah, same with us. We're just out, you know, it's nice to be back out, bit of crack, if anything, just get the boys together Tuesday, Thursday night, not take it too serious, just, well, we're preparing for a semi-final, but, you know, it's just nice to have football back and be allowed to, you know, get back about our daily lives nearly in a wee bit of normality. So just to kind of get started, I want to take you back to your early playing days, your early memories of football. You've obviously had a very successful playing career, but how did it all begin? You know, was football always like a big priority for you, or did you just kind of start off just playing to enjoy it? And just...
No, I just started playing to enjoy it. I think I started playing for Ballyvay up when they used to play just up above Mourne. I started playing for them. And it was great crack. You know, played out the field, stuff like this here, the likes of Harry McComb, Leonard Shields and George McConnell, things like this, you know, and it was great fun. Yeah. And I just enjoyed it. And I just have a love for football. I just kept playing on, you know. Yeah.
And you eventually made a career out of being a goalkeeper, and you say you started outfield. How did you kind of make that move from being an outfielder to being a goalkeeper?
Very easily. Because Ballyvay were the sort of team then that they changed in a wee hut type thing. And there's this one match, they come down, and I didn't know what was going on. They held me outside for so long, and eventually let me into the changing rooms, and there was only one shirt left. That's how it happened. There was only the one flitting shirt left, and I had to take it, and that sort of started it. You know, so I felt then you've a lot less running to do. Yes. You don't get kicked just as much. So I thought, well, give it a go. Yeah,
and you were happy enough to do that, because if you think nowadays, if you basically told an outfielder you have to do nets, you know, there's not many people would, you know, volunteer themselves or would be really interested. You were happy enough just.
No, I was happy enough. Yeah. It was getting a game of football one way or the other. You know, I was happy enough, and it sort of stuck to me then after that. You know.
So then. You started off at Ballyvay, you moved into goalkeeper, and things must have progressed on quickly because you quickly made your way up the...
well, Ballyvay, when I was playing for Ballyvay, I was 15, you know, and I did move right and quick, you know. I suppose it was late 16, maybe 17, that I signed for Cliftonville, like, and that was at a year in the reserve team, which was pretty good.
Yeah, you know. Yeah, at that age, yes. Yep. And how does a young 16-year-old player from Ballyvay get picked up by Cliftonville? You know, what was the kind of process? Did they come and watch you? Did they, you know, how?
Did a game down in Ballykilner, and I think they picked me up then. They were playing the King's Regiment, was the big team then in the Newcastle League, and they were basically near enough a team of professional footballers, and they were the team they were the team about at that time, you know. Yeah. They picked me up from that, you know.
And as soon as there was contact made from Cliftonville, it was a no-brainer. You were away.
Well, it was easy. It was easy for me because my brother Harry was there, and John Peacock, and obviously being a 17-year-old, not like the 17-year-olds nowadays. I had no car, no nothing, so it was a matter of just jumping into the car and went to training twice a week with them, so to speak, and then match days was Some wee bit different maybe. Most times I got with them as well, you know.
So that was a year in Cliftonville, which would have been their second team or the reserve team to start off.
It was Cliftonville Olympic, aye.
Yeah. And was your brother Harry doing goals for the first team?
He was doing goals for the first team.
Yes. So you kind of had your eyes on that spot?
Not really.
Not really?
I didn't really. You know, the first year, apparently I done quite well, you know, and they gave me the chance for the second year I was there, and it worked out. I played the full season.
For the first team?
For the first team.
Yes.
You know, and we sort of transferred our fella, he went into the second, sort of speak, and I was in the first, you know. And then after that, we were supposed to report for training for the next season, but all along we're going well in the summer league, and we didn't. We didn't report at the time we should have reported. Yeah. So we were all demoted then, you know. Yeah. And ended up that they brought a goalkeeper in for the that. I had our fellow obviously done goals for the seconds. I was playing out the field for Annalong up here, so I played about 2 or 3 games out the field for Cliftonville Olympic, which was all right.
Which wasn't too bad, but it wasn't your position that you could become accustomed to. No. So that was then your third season at Cliftonville, and then another team came in for you, Derry City.
Well, I'd only, as I say, that was really at the start of the season. Derry City came in for me. They had a Taxico Cup was the thing they had entered, or the thing they got entered for because of their league position the previous season, and they just asked. They signed me on loan for just to play in the Taxico Cup. That's how it originally started. You know, with games against the first game was against Limerick, home and away, and then Shamrock Rovers home and away, and then we had the big one. We played Wolves at home and away.
Fantastic.
You know, and that's how I started with them, so to speak.
And that must have been a great experience, you know, getting to play against Wolves would have been a very big, obviously big team.
Oh, it was a big team.
Would they have been in the Premier League or?
They were, well, it was Division 1 them days, like, you know, the likes of Derek Duggan was playing for them, Jim McCalliog, and Phil Parks was the goalkeeper. He was about 10 foot tall. Yes. You know. Yeah. It was a big experience, like, you know.
Fantastic. And then did that loan move to Derry then become a permanent?
Yep, it become after the Taxico Cup. I was supposed to go back to Cliftonville, but they made I don't know what the arrangement was, but I stayed then with Cliftonville away Derry City.
And the first thing that was, you know, would strike me even nowadays if a player from Mourne got signed from Derry City, you know, it's an incredible amount of travelling and sacrifice and commitment. Did you have to train there all the time? Was there some kind of deal made that you maybe trained closer to home?
I was allowed to train with Cliftonville.
Yes.
And a lot of times I trained on my own as well, but your Saturdays you forgot about it. You know, I went away 7:30 in the morning, usually got the 7:30 bus to Belfast. Yeah. And then made from there up to Derry City on the train or things like this here. We used to travel at times with George O'Halloran and Danny Hale. Would have travelled by car at sometimes, you know, but mainly it was a train.
Bus and train. And were Derry in the League of Ireland?
No.
Were they Irish League back then?
Irish League.
Yeah, not too bad then, but near enough every game, especially for people down here that even play Irish League, every game is near like an away game anyway. Yep. You know, because you have to travel an hour to get to pretty much anywhere.
As it turned out, their away games were nearly home games for me. If you know what I mean, it was only an hour's travel.
Yeah.
You know, for us to go up there, it was a full day affair, because by the time you get home, it was 9:30 at night. Usually, by the time you got home on a Saturday night. Yeah. And you were number 1 at Derry City. Yep. And you played for how long did you play there for them total? I'd about a couple of years there, 2 and a bit years there. The thing was, they got Ballymena come up, and they got the bus lifted, and the bus was in the ground. It was kind of a funny experience. It was great crack, but we met at the train station. There was George O'Halloran, Danny Hale, and myself, and there was Tommy Gowdy and Jim Martin from Ballymena, and we travelled up the whole way. And the first thing was Jim Jimmy Martin come, he says, "You like the threads?" Excuse me. He had a new coat, new overcoat, lovely new overcoat, and oh, that was great. So chatted about anyway. They got off at Ballymena, and we went on to Londonderry, and then we got lifted there and taken to the team hotel type of thing, and then taken to the ground. Match went on as normal. It was midway through. It was a bad day up there. You'd hear bangs and there was explosions. There was everything going about, and the Brandywell isn't in the greatest area.
No,
it's just
not.
down below the Craigan and stuff like this here, and there was a lot of smoke and bangs, this, that, and the other. And about halfway through, I think it was the second half, I was standing there. We had a corner. The ball was ready to be pushed across for the corner. There was one man up the field with Jimmy Martin. Jimmy Martin's a flying machine. And next I heard this commotion, and I looked round, and I could see boys with guns coming on the Ballymena bus.
Yes.
And I looked, I didn't know what to do, like, it was scary, like.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, they just jumped in the bus, and away the bus went. And just as they were jumping in the bus and turning it around, big, I think Monty McKinney was in goal for Ballymena. He threw the ball the whole way to about the halfway line. Jim Martin was there at his own. He turned around, ready to go. "They're away with the bus, my new coat." And that's all he was shouting, was away the bus, my new coat, you know. And of course the bus went away, and less than 5 minutes later there was a bang, massive bang, and a big pall of smoke. That was
the end of the coat.
Well, funny enough, after the match, we were standing outside, just outside the changing rooms, and I was standing talking to John Duffy, and Jimmy Martin came out and he says, "My new coat," he says, "there's something smoke." He says, "Brand new." John says, "You see, if you go up there into the Craigan," he says, "you'll find one of the best dressed IRA men about wearing your coat." You know. But after that, there was only one game after that. Cliftonville came up after that, and then the Brandywell was closed, and we had to play games in Coleraine, which was not nice, like.
No. That was definitely a crazy experience for somebody, you know, from down around here to experience things like that. This podcast is brought to you by JN Haar. JN Haar embroider all our training gear at PSA. They also have a hardware shop and specialise in plant hair. All our details is linked in the description box below. Derry City then, a couple of seasons there, and you got to move again.
Got to move again. It was like with Derry City, we got to the Irish Cup final. It didn't work out, and then the whole travelling bit was starting to get to me. I had a car. We'd lost Danny Hale and stuff like this here, and I hadn't so many people to go up for. Terry Cochran joined us as well, which was good because he was in Killalay, and he came up me a few times, things like this here. But the whole atmosphere was changed because all our home games were in Coleraine. The crowd, there was nobody going to see the games at all. It worked in our favour that the first year we did go out there, we'd played Linfield in the semi-final of the Irish Cup. And we beat them at Coleraine, which was our home ground. There was a wee bit of a niggle to say that match shouldn't have been played there because Coleraine is Derry City's home ground now, like, you know. But it went ahead. We beat them 1-0, like, you know.
So that went in your favour.
That went in our favour, but it was really difficult to play there. So I was holding out, and then I got approached to go to Linfield, like.
And was obviously taking into consideration the travel and everything that was kind of changing within the club. That was kind of nailed on for you as soon as that interest came in. You were away and.
Aye. You know, there was like I was going to go. There was a few other rumours of a couple of other clubs, like, you know, but travelling up there really, after so long, it got to me, like, you know.
Yeah, well, it's incredible miles, and I'm sure the sacrifice and commitment that you had been doing over the past couple of years was more than enough.
It was tough enough, like.
So Linfield came in for you, and you went there to be number one keeper.
Yep.
or was there any competition, or who?
No, well, I signed on the Friday and I played on the Saturday. You know.
So, were you going there with not the guarantee of being number one, but you were going?
No, there's no guarantee.
No, you were going there just to fight for your place.
Just fight for my place, you know. So, but as I say, I was signed on the Friday. I think it was a Friday, Thursday or Friday. I was signed, and I walked straight into the team first team on the weekend. You know.
And did you have a successful time at Linfield? How would you look back at your?
It was good. It was good. You know, completely different from what Derry City was like. Derry, to be quite honest, I would say Derry City was my most enjoyable period, and I think I played my best football with Derry City, to be honest too. You know, it was a whole different ball game playing for the likes of Linfield, because everybody's out to beat you. There's bigger pressure there, you know, and you're expected to win every game. And when I joined them, I was going through a period of transition. There were some of the older players were older players, you know, and I'm not saying past their sell by, but
getting there.
You know, getting there, so to speak, you know, and it was a difficult period of when I signed, like, you know.
And then during that rebuilding phase, and then maybe once you kind of overcame that, did it lead to any success? Were you successful? Did you get any, you know? Well,
we won the Gold Cup, we won the County Antrim Shield. It was the only two things we really won, and we got to the final of the Irish Cup again. But other than that, you know, the league was the big thing, and the league didn't happen, you know.
And then Linfield, then how many, you know, you were there at Linfield for how long?
About 3 years.
3 years, and then once you had your 3 years at Linfield, was it a move back to local football, or did?
No, well, Linfield had a bit of a sour ending. I went through about 3 managers with Linfield. Billy Campbell came in. I had a row with him at half time against Glentoran at the Oval, and I was dropped.
Yes.
And the next game I was playing at Brantwood's ground, and just behind the goals there's it wouldn't be a yard, and I went down, my knee banjaxed. I tried to come back again after that, like that was what, 1976, about that, 75, 76, and the knee was racked. So that was my career basically finished.
That was your whole career finished?
Yep.
So you kind of went out, not at the top, but you went out, you know, playing for Irish League team. You didn't come back and have any time locally?
I couldn't do.
No, you were
I couldn't
told
do.
I
was told we tried everything. To be quite honest, now there's not many people know this, but I signed for Carrick Rangers, and I had one game. I thought it was dead on. They thought it was dead on. The medical they did wasn't a great medical or anything. I felt strong, and actually played one game for them. And that was me finished.
That was it. That was you done.
That was it. And then I went and I seen a few people about the knee, and the last one said to me, "Listen, you see, if you play on, you'll be in crutches or a wheelchair by the time you're 30 or 40." So I said to myself,
it wasn't worth it.
That wasn't worth it. Like, you know.
So you had in total between Cliftonville, Derry City, Linfield, you know, 3 top sides. Even till this day, they're all big names in the League of Ireland and indeed our own Irish League here. You had about 10 years in total.
I would say 9 to 10.
How would you look back over your full career? You know, you obviously done very well. You achieved a lot.
Yep, I enjoyed it. It was very enjoyable. Like, you know, if only I could do it again.
Yeah.
You know, and it does take, like for the younger ones coming on, it takes a hell of a lot of determination. Takes you to be not a loner, but be able to be a loner.
Yeah.
Because you have that much time to, like, it takes you, like, you know yourself what it's like to get young lads to training up the road.
Yeah.
I know what it's like to get young lads training all along. You can't make it the night of this.
Everything seems to be happening on a Tuesday and Thursday night.
You know, you've an hour to get to training, and then you've maybe 2 hours training, then an hour to get home. Whereas there, you have 2 minutes to get to training. You know, so you need to be dedicated to it. You know, you need to be saying, right, if you're going to do it, you give it a go. You don't go half-hearted with anything. You know, and I was prepared to give it a go.
To give
you
it
know,
everything
give
and
it a
see
go,
where
like.
it took you.
Uh-huh.
It definitely took you on a very good journey. And just on that, just on the whole local thing, what advice would you give to young players? I know there's some young players at the minute playing for Mourne from here. There's some young players playing for Glenavon from this area. What advice would you give the young players, who have maybe not even necessarily for that level, but just in general, who want to make a good go of their football career? What advice would you give to them?
Work hard and listen. Simple. There are some players, some people I know who think they know it all, and you couldn't talk to them and all this. There's people who knows a lot more than the young ones do. People that know more than I know. But if you work hard at it, if you're determined to listen to people, take their advice, find out what the good advice is, look at it and see what the bad advice is, pick the advice you want and go for it. Because it is very enjoyable, and it's nice to test yourself at a higher level.
Yeah.
And I have no qualms and telling young ones to go ahead. If they want to do it, go for it.
But give the 100% to it.
They have to you can't give 90%. They have to give it all.
So you had a very successful club career that then transpired into a couple of amateur international caps. Yes,
I had I had to take a note of this, as you know, because my memory wasn't that great. Well, I had a youth cap. I got one youth cap. We played England at Prenton Park, and then 69 was amateur, 71. 70 was an amateur cap, and 71, 72 and 73. And we're fortunate enough to win the British Championship in London against England.
Fantastic.
In 72.
So that was an international team made up of all the Irish. So that was all the best Northern Ireland amateur. Yep. And how did you find training and being in and around that? Because obviously it was the pick of the bunch.
Yep, it was good. With Jackie Cummins was manager, and then Billy Neal was manager of the both at different times. They were manager of the team, and they brought everybody together. I knew some of the players that came in, but it's like the international team they talk about now. Once you're in, the crack's great. There's no clicks, no nothing, and it was good fun. It was good fun.
Really enjoyable.
Yep.
That's good. That's fantastic experience, and you're the last team to win the.
We're the last. We won the home international championships, and after that it finished.
Sure.
And the year we did win it, all our games were away from home because of the troubles. England, no team would travel to Northern Ireland to play. So we done it the hard way. Yeah.
And just on all the travel, obviously that was in England, and it was in Scotland, and it was in Wales, whatever. Your job or your work must have been very, able to work with you to allow you to go and experience all this.
They were really accommodating, they really were. Like there's, even midweek games and things like this here when I was playing at home, they were very good, Thankfully, most midweek games were Tuesday, because Wednesday. Then, when I was working the Mourne Observer, Wednesday night was the big night. We had to work late, so working on a Tuesday, doing that football on a Tuesday, didn't impact as much on them, But they were very, very good to me.
Brilliant. So after you're unfortunate, you had to retire due to injury. Did you have any aspirations of staying in the game and a managerial or coaching role, or did you just kind of want to maybe just enjoy your life without all the football hassle, or what was kind of your next thoughts?
My next thought was, I'm going to do nothing. I'm going to do nothing at all. I never felt like doing anything at all. And then I think I can blame John Peacock. He come on along, entered down with your league, and he said, need a manager for the amateur league. So I said, right, I'll give it a go. And I give it a go, like. We were successful, like. We had a good lot of years in the amateur league.
And then you managed that along, and then you're still involved along to this day.
Yes, well, you got me back again, you know.
I got you back again. Well,
you got me back to start again, like, yes, to give you a hand.
Well, it was a very good appointment, because you were fantastic, because I was only starting out, and obviously with your experience and your name and reputation in the local football, it's a fantastic appointment for the club. And yeah, I suppose you've got me to blame for that.
I have you to blame.
But that was coming up on maybe 8 or 9 years now, so.
Yeah, I was only a young fella then. Like.
Yeah, you're still 20 years in you back then, yeah. So you've obviously had a very good, successful playing career, fantastic amateur internationals and management, and still to this day you're involved helping out with the team and the club. There's another big part of your life that you've dedicated a lot towards, and that's the Heartbeat charity.
Yep.
And that's a charity that PSA will hope to, support in the near future when we can get, events on and stuff. Can you just tell us your role within that and a wee bit about what the charity involves, etc.? Well,
basically, again, as you kicked off with this here, I could go back to about 19, again I have the dates, was about 1988. And that's when my daughter Laura contracted a rare disease, Kawasaki syndrome, which affected her main coronary artery. So it was then that, coronary artery, heart, we attended a few appointments at the Royal. We got to know that there was a Heartbeat charity, and all this had just started basically 4 years previous. And so they asked me to join that sort of thing, And again, at that time, Carol and myself, we were completely ignorant of anything to do with heart conditions and things like this here, because we really thought that heart conditions is an old person's thing.
Yeah.
Children don't have heart conditions. That never happens. Yeah. This was very, very rare. Laura was the only, this was thought process. Laura was the only one with a heart condition. And once we're in the Royal, we saw other people there with children and stuff like this here. I don't know what's wrong with them or this sort of thing. And then a year later, 1990 it was, yes, a year later, or 2 years later, we had to go for a catheterization, which is an angiogram basically. And they wanted to see what about this coronary artery, and lo and behold, it was, we were told it was 95% closed. And she was put into the ward, and it was only then we looked round and we saw these children, some that were just born, babies, some, there was a wee lad actually beside her who was near enough the same age as her, a wee Down syndrome child. And I suddenly realised what was going on here, all these hurt children and all, And well, Laura had the operation, she had a coronary artery bypass, and that got me more involved with the charity, and I've been more involved ever since, basically,
And local sports clubs. And local sports clubs do quite a bit of, support for Heartbeat and for local charities with, like sponsored events, etc.
Yep. No, it's great to see. Like it's the charity sort of, we provide. Like I realised what it's like when you're down there. Fortunately enough, we were not in a great position financially, but we travelled to the hospital. We stayed in the hospital. You're eating hospital food. The expenses were climbing up. We had still a couple of kids at home. We're still having bills coming in, mortgages, things like that there coming in, and fortunately enough, we were able to struggle through. There's a lot of families now that can't struggle through that or having difficulty struggling through that. So as a charity, we give them families grants to get through that thing, And we have different initiatives we have going with we got a very successful summer fun initiative last year. We got a grant for £8,000. We're able to spend it on children. Like last year, as you very well know, completely locked down. It was even more severe then than it is now, and kids weren't getting out. They weren't allowed to do anything. So we were getting things for their garden for them to play with and things like this, you know.
Yep.
And I say the grants we do and things like this here, we supply different pieces of equipment to the Royal, toys and stuff like that there for the children in Clark Clinic and stuff like this, you know. And I know the football club in Allendown have done a couple of things for us so far, and there's other clubs have come in done things for us as well, you know. And the thing about it is, if we do get support, every penny, we're volunteers, so every penny goes to helping people. You know, there's no office costs, there's no salaries to pay or nothing like that, you know, which is a big thing, I think.
Definitely is. No, it's a very important charity, as you say. Once we can get up and opened and run events, PSA will definitely be supporting Heartbeat.
I'll definitely hold you to that, because that'll be part of my fee to be in here tonight.
It's on camera, it's on video now, so it definitely will in the near future be supporting it. So, Irwyn, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on. It's been really interesting, great to talk to you, and we wish you all the very best for whatever you get up to in the future.
That's great, Matthew. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
Thank you to Mourne for the use of this space for this podcast.